Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is that you are and wherever you may be. Thank you very much for making us a part of your day. I am Brad Franklin, a creative content right here in Chesterfield. I'm very glad to tell you that Chesterfield Behind the Mic is on the air once again. Now, through the course of doing the show, I get to talk to a lot of different people. I get to talk about lots of different fun events, and this is a very unique one. I'm very excited to have the opportunity to feature it here and definitely to hopefully get some folks to come out and take part. I want to welcome America DeLoach, who we're going to talk about the Latino Farmers Market. America, welcome to the show. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for coming to talk about, obviously, a new endeavor for Chesterfield, for the Latino community, for a lot of folks in and around Rockwood Park. I know that this is something that has already caught on pretty quickly, and I think it looks like something we're going to be doing for a long time to come. Before we dive into that, America, I want to get a little bit of some background on you. I always like to give folks who are on the show a chance to, give a little bit of an introduction to themselves and kind of talk a little about their background. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself and sort of how you came to be sitting across from me today?
Of course. I would love to share a little bit about myself. So my name is America DeLoach. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela.
Okay.
I live in a beautiful community here in Chesterfield County.
Right.
I'm a proud spider.
Okay.
Mother of 3 children.
Okay. And
happily married with Lionel DeLoach since 2013.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Well, tell me a little bit about your background. Where did you come from? How, what's the mix of, I was almost going to say the special sauce, and I didn't mean to say special sauce, but given you what you do, I'm just curious. Tell folks a little bit about sort of your place in the community, so to speak.
Well, it actually is interesting that you say special sauce, so you can say special salsa.
There you go.
And I'll tell you why later on. But so my journey has been deeply intertwined, with both education and entrepreneurship,
right?
Which are my 2 twin passions, I have to admit. I began my career as a Spanish teacher in enriching young minds in various schools across Richmond and Chesterfield County.
Right.
The experience, was truly, and I have to admit, is just to the day transformational.
Oh, okay.
Teaching for me was deeply profound and to have an impact on education on our community.
Yeah.
As a teacher, we play multiple roles. As you know, teachers are superheroes in every classroom.
Absolutely.
We do everything that we have to do in order to support our young students.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So maybe I came across here because while I was still teaching, I had a venture I started to do into entrepreneur world, and with my own business on Salsas on Sebastian, and I recognize salsa brand. I don't know if you have tried it before.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
It's a salsa brand that you can find in 150 stores right now. So the challenge.
Wait, hold on. 150 stores.
150 stores.
That's crazy.
Sir. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, congratulations on it, because that's to do it for anybody who tries to start anything like that. It just feels daunting, let alone actually when you're doing it. But to 150 stores, that's awesome. That's really cool.
It's a lot of work.
I bet. Yeah.
I'm kidding you not. It is. I've been working. It's been almost 8 years in the making with a salsa brand. It is just God knows how much I've done to make it, happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
So anyway, this endeavor, has allowed me to connect with my community on different levels, but also, to try to find sustainable practice and the food production.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in addition to running my business, I do also all the things. I'm deeply involved in consulting for small businesses, where I help entrepreneurs realize their dream from conception to retail. Yeah. Most recently, as you know, I'm here because of the Latino market. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, let me talk about something about the Latino community in general before we get to the market itself.
Of course.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on the ways that Chesterfield County reaches out to folks in the Latino community, especially since June is Immigrant Heritage Month. I know Delilah Medrano is somebody I've talked to, had on the show before. We talked about the number of ways that the county sort of reaches out to various cultures within Chesterfield County, and there are so many, and it feels like all the time that number is growing, right? But I'm just curious to get your thoughts on how on that outreach piece for the Latino community specifically as it pertains to Chesterfield.
I feel, this is my personal opinion, and I feel like it is an ongoing journey, okay, for Chesterfield County. That happily, and I'm excited to be part of.
Yeah.
The county has taken definitely proactive steps to engage with other, with the Latino population,
right,
especially recognizing and celebrating the diverse culture, with our community. During Hispanic Heritage Month, I know they do, for instance, they do showcase, in different programs,
right? Yeah,
various programs,
right,
events
right,
to honor our heritage,
right,
and facilitate deeper connections,
yeah,
among all residents.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the market itself, let me take a step back. Where did the idea come from to have something like this, and how did it sort of all come about? And I'll save a couple follow-ups there, but I'm just curious, kind of where did the idea come from, and how did this all sort of happen? How did it come together?
So this idea of the Latino market has definitely been germinating in my mind for at least 3-4 years. Initially, I was deeply engrossed into my business, my salsa business, because I was trying to make it grow, and I was, very engrossed into that, which didn't leave much time to do other things, But I said, I need to do this. I need to get it going.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So the concept never left back of my mind.
Yeah,
I knew it was something that I needed to do. I knew that it was just not only for me, for myself, but for my community.
Right. Yeah.
So this is how I envision, right? I had an envision a place where Latinos could find familiar taste from their home countries, and where non-Latinos could explore and enjoy our rich culinary and cultural offerings.
Yeah, because there's so much of Latino culture that is
food. Through food.
Yeah, it's such a big part of that entire experience, I would say, right?
Yes. And I find interesting, for example, of course, you want to have a Latino, you want to have a farmer's market that has a little bit of everything, like food and crafts and stuff.
Right.
But for some reason, not for some reason, but because Latinos are so much into food, and we cook, and we have so many different flavors, our Latino market feels like it is a food hub.
Yeah, right.
It has transformed into a food hub.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of why, it certainly feels like this is going to be something that stays for a long time, because like you said, there's so many different, if you think about the Latino community, we can say those words and that sounds sort of like it encompasses, one specific thing, but man, I feel like because there's so many different cultures that are a part of that, and they're so, represented through the various dishes and the various food, I can imagine that that this was an idea that when it started to gain a little steam, it probably gained a lot of steam. In terms of the whole thing coming together, how has it been going so far, and what's that response been like from folks who are a part of that community?
So the response has been incredible. Yeah. Not only from the Latino community, but from our surrounded, Chesterfield County as a whole. Everybody is so happy, and even, the Rockwood Park area, those neighbors, that neighborhood around there, they're extremely happy. They're like, please don't go anywhere. I get stopped all the time from people that I don't know, and they come to me and they just say, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah. And I feel awesome because it is exactly what I envisioned. Yeah. It was a platform not only for a platform for a culture and exchange. Mm-hmm. Right. You have to see it that way. Right. For I had people that had come to my stand because I had my salsa stand there too.
Yeah.
And they said, can I order in Spanish, the whole thing?
Yeah.
I want to practice my Spanish. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, por supuesto, vamos. So that's cool. And I had other high schoolers that they have come and done the same thing, have asked, we want to do, can we practice our Spanish?
Right.
I had teachers that have asked, I have asked my students to come, and this is a special credit if they come to the Latino market.
That's cool.
So yeah, it's definitely, doing what I envision.
Yeah. One quick follow up on that. I can imagine that for something like this to really sort of take hold, it's not just, just the Latino community or just the, the surrounding area. It's got to be both, right? What's the reaction been like? Have you seen, for somebody who is obviously very involved in sort of the business community, have you seen folks come in and sort of be involved in this specific market that otherwise just don't come to these kinds of events? Because I can see this being something that really gets people to come and like I said, exchange that culture and be a part of that are folks who maybe otherwise wouldn't come to something that is like county sponsored. You just see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see it really bringing people together in a way, and people who have historically not been super involved in that respect. Have you seen that in your experience so far with the market?
I guess. I mean, I feel like everybody comes a lot of by curiosity.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
When they see the Latino, it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
So there are several, comments. It's like, oh, I want to. So what is the Latino farmers market itself?
Right.
A lot of people are questioning, like, so do I have to be Latino to come here? Absolutely not. Everybody's so welcome.
Yeah.
So, no, I feel like it's doing what I envision, which is, to bring everybody together as a community. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I feel like our Chesterfield County has definitely put a red carpet, in front of me, and not only for me, but for all of us to make this happen.
Yeah. Now let's give the folks some brass tacks on the market itself. What do we want folks to know about it, and what kinds of our lessons are we already sort of learning that we might put to good use in the future? As because like I said, I don't think the market is going to go anywhere. I think it's going to be in Rockwood, and who knows? There could be multiple versions of this. But I'm just curious, what kind of what's the response? What sort of lessons have we learned from that response so far, and what kind of lessons are we taking from what we've seen so far?
So I have to say that, the market, it is, I want people to know that it is a platform for education and interaction. Mm-hmm. I want them to see it like that, where they feel that they can feel open to ask any question to, any vendor that are there from different backgrounds. We have definitely different backgrounds, and, I want people to appreciate the Latino culture. So that's one thing. I wanted the Latino farmers market to serve as a bridge, fostering understanding and unity within our diverse community. We are seeing actually firsthand how these cultural exchanges enrich everyone involved.
Yeah.
In terms of lesson learned, I feel like we're constantly adapting to better meet the needs of our vendors and visitors. One significant insight has been the importance of communication and community feedback. I'm in charge of the Facebook and in charge of the Instagram, and I'm constantly asking questions to the community. And people, I love it when people ask questions.
That's great.
What is this and what is that? So I'm really open on answering any questions they have. Also, I want people to engage, with vendors.
Right.
That is, I feel like it's awesome. Engaging vendors and customers together. Their thoughts and suggestions. Has been very instrumental for me since I'm in charge of the social media.
Yeah.
I guess another lesson it would be the value of flexibility and innovation.
Right.
We are learning to be agile and in adapting our strategies to overcome challenges, you know, for example, like the weather. I never run a farmer's market before. So I didn't know the importance of the weather.
Yeah,
that you need to know this in advance, like way ahead.
Yeah.
So also logistic hurdles, which I met with Dalila and Katie, you know, from Chesterfield County on a regular basis before we started the farmers market, to have all those, you know,
pieces worked out,
you know. So this adaptability, I guess it will be, you know, is crucial to have to make a farmers market on point.
Yeah.
You know, so we have a WhatsApp group among our vendors.
Okay.
If they have any questions, if they have any concerns, you know, I'm there. I'm always constantly, you know, there. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot. We're learning a lot.
So it's every Saturday morning from now until November the 2nd at Rockwood Park.
Correct.
And if I believe I've got this right, 70% of the vendors are Latino business owners, and many are immigrants to the country. Which,
correct.
Like you said before, just the amount of, you know, like you said, cultural
exchange,
the cultural exchange, and certainly the vibe of just sort of everybody sort of coming together, that collective mentality. I just think that's really cool for it to be there, you know, every week. You know, something that people can sort of get accustomed to. November seems like a long time away.
I know.
I mean,
but you know, going back to what you just said about everybody, you know, the immigrants, everybody have a cool story,
right? Yeah.
And I think I'm also looking for someone that can do that. Maybe a film, maybe a journalism student that is interested on doing that.
Yeah.
I think it will be awesome if we can just interview every single one of the
capture
that story
really cool.
Behind the scenes, you know, because honestly, I mean, all those people there that are joining us as vendors, not only their product are amazing, but their stories are pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, last question, and I'll get you out of here on this one. In terms of the vendors, do you have space for more? And what do people, if somebody were to hear this and wants to get involved, what do they do if they want to be a part of this market?
So we do have more space.
Okay.
So in order for you to participate, if you're listening to me, you just have to apply, send an email to latinomarket@salsas.sebastian.com.
Okay.
So let me repeat it. latinomarket@salsas.sebastian.com.
Cool.
Yeah, just send an email there, and we'll definitely reply with all the, with a form. And you will have to upload all the permits and everything that you have to do. You know, for food, it's definitely a little bit more complicated, because we have to have all the permits. Otherwise, if you do like handcrafts and stuff, it's just pretty easy.
Cool. Well, I can't imagine a better sort of guide through that whole process than you. And I love that this idea has come to fruition, that this vision you had for it has, you know, sprung to life. And I'm really excited to see where it goes going forward. But America, thank you very much for coming on the podcast and talking to us about the Latino farmers market. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Now, make sure you check us out on social media. On Twitter, it's @ChesterfieldVA, and on Instagram, it's Chesterfield Virginia on Word. And on Facebook, you can check out our podcast page. Just search Chesterfield Behind the Mic. Now, make sure to follow or subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, or wherever it is that you get your shows. And if you're so inclined to give us a rating or review, we greatly appreciate it. As always, a video version of the show is available on our YouTube channel as well as on our website at Chesterfield.gov/podcast. That's also where you can submit feedback anytime, make suggestions, or just reach out to us. You can watch the show on WCCT Thursday through Sunday at 7, on the weekends at noon. That's Comcast Channel 98 and Verizon Channel 28. Lastly, check out Chesterfield.gov/connect with us to find out a number of other ways to connect with Chesterfield County. My thanks to my director, Martin Stith, my executive producer, Teresa, Bonifas, and all the good folks from Constituent Media Services for all they do. And my thanks to you for joining us today. So, from all of us here in Chesterfield, thanks again for making us a part of your day. We'll see you again real soon. Take good care. From blogs to podcasts, newsletters to alerts, social media, the latest community news, our Connect With Us webpage has you covered. Chesterfield.gov/connect with us, your source for all things Chesterfield.